We have a special replay from last January. Misty Mayhem will be, her show will be here. And so that'd be worth tuning in.
Mm-hmm.
We are delighted to have our new friend, Daniel Ouimet, here in the studio. Daniel, great to see you. Thank you for coming up.
Yeah, sure. Thanks for having me. This is great.
And already have had an opportunity out in the green room to share some thoughts about instruments and things, and you're a wealth of knowledge. I really enjoyed that. We didn't warn you, but what we'd like to do here on the show is to have you jump in and play a song. Whatever you'd like to play, we'd love to hear.
Sure, that sounds great. So I'll just start out with a song that I released earlier this year. The song about old friends getting back together later in life. It's called That Was Then. It's been such a long time since I've seen your face. Tell me where the time has gone. Got no time to waste. Well, I remember getting stoned and skipping school. Those were the days, my friend, we're breaking all the rules. Let me tell you, that was then and this is now. I guess we never learned anything anyhow. Another year older ain't so hard to believe. Memories fade like the pages of forgotten magazines. It's been good to see you. Now I'll be on my way. May the road rise to meet you and bring you back someday. This is now and that was then, dear friend. Times have changed and we've come so far since then.
Daniel Ouimet, live here on Pass the Hat.
Bob, is this our first tenor guitar in 10 years?
This is our first official tenor guitar in 10 years. We have had 4-string cigar box guitars, which can be tuned like a tenor guitar, but I don't think they were.
Daniel, very cool. Nice song. Enjoyed that one.
Yeah, thank you.
And so tell us how that is tuned.
This is basically this is a Blue Ridge tenor guitar, but it is a mandolin tuning. And the reason for that is my background is drums, and it wasn't until about 15, 16 years ago I taught myself to play the mandolin, and I wanted a larger sound. And there are octave mandolins, which are a little bit bigger body, but this was the first tenor, guitar body that was able to be tuned into a mandolin.
Mandolin tuning GDAE.
Yes.
Is that right? But they also can tune those in fifths. C, G, D, A.
Yes, there are alternate tunings. I do have another Blue Ridge here, which is just a tune in 1-5-1-5. It's just an open tuning, but yeah. So basically, that's where this came from. It's just a giant octave mandolin, I guess, essentially.
It sounds great. It really does.
I'm glad they made it because there aren't a lot of choices when it comes to tenor guitars or large body guitars you can tune like a mandolin. So
So you said we're also always interested in people's first instrument. And for you, I think you just said drums.
Mhm.
And so how old when you started drumming?
I was 9 when I joined the school band. And the only reason I played the drums because they ran out of trumpet. Well, they had too many trumpet players. In those days, you go to music class and they're like, pick 2 instruments and we'll find one for you. And I said, all right, trumpet, and then I forget the other one.
Kim would say that you can never have too many trumpets.
I sure would.
My experience was similar. I walked into, back then they called it junior high school, so I walked into band. I'm signing up for band, and they said, what do you want to play? And I said, trumpet. And the music director looked straight at me and said, I think you meant to say trombone. I said, fine, whatever.
Yeah, so fate would have it. I chose drums. That was the option they gave me. Not much of an option, but it was fine. But which is interesting is I didn't find out till after I decided this. When I went home and told my parents, I found out that's when I learned my dad played drums.
Oh, no kidding.
So, and he's the only other musician in the family. But I mean that was a long time ago. But yeah, it's been great. So I've been playing drums all these years, and and I decided to pick up some strings and some harmonicas and basses and all that good stuff.
So wait, your dad was a drummer, but there were no drums in the house?
No, just a drumstick that he had, an old drum skin that he had signed by one of Glenn Miller's drummers back when he
Whoa,
was a
that's
teenager.
something.
How about that?
Yeah, Buddy. I can't remember the guy's name, but I have the skin. But yeah, it got torn at a gig, and the guy signed it for him, and he was all happy.
Sweet.
Well, we're excited to hear more music. We know you're a relatively prolific songwriter. Been cranking out some music all along, good bit of it, and we'll talk about where people can find that here a little bit later in the show. But how about another song?
Sure, I'd love to. So yeah, my process is I write as much as I can because writing songs is hard, and when you get a good one, it's satisfying, and it's hard to come across those sometimes. But this next song was one of those early morning coffee songs that just contemplating the world before my brain woke up, so to speak, and so I started putting together this idea of just having how things constantly change. And sometimes you go through ups and downs, good times, bad times. So this song is about that. It's called Headed for a Breakdown. Forget everything you have learned. The only certainty is change. Just when you think you've learned how to play, they go and change the rules of the game. Find yourself in the same old jam, circling the drain. One step forward, 2 steps back, we're headed for a breakdown again. Nine to five, 5 days a week, weekends at the shore. This working life is just fine with me. I'll retire when I'm 84. Watch the world drift slowly by as it goes totally insane. 1 step forward, 3 steps back, we're headed for a breakdown again. Breaking news, this just in, the world has come undone. Bullets fly and people die, and hate blocks out the sun. Heroes have all come and gone, no one to save the day. 1 step forward, 4 steps back, we're headed for a breakdown again. Forget everything you have learned, the only certainty is change. Just when you think you've learned how to play, they go and change the rules of the game. You find yourself in the same old jam, circling the drain. 1 step forward, 6 steps back, we're headed for a breakdown again. We're headed for a breakdown again. ready for a breakdown again. Thank you.
I like that circling the drain. That's very clever.
Story of my life.
I'm digging the whole songwriting process. You started to talk about that a little bit, but on that instrument, after the road you've taken, what does the actual process of writing songs look like for you? Does it kind of the chicken and the egg? Does it start with music or does it start with words? And then how do you put it all together?
Well, some big questions. Yeah, it's the process is different every time, but generally for me it starts with music first, and then with that I come up with some kind of melody, and the melody kind of dictates the mood along with the chords, and but that's usually how I do it. I know some people write poems or poetry and they add the music to it, and I've done that on a couple of occasions, but for the most part it's music first, and then I just trying to fit words that suit the mood of the melody and the chords, as far as that process goes.
And then what kind of sounds were you influenced by as you grew up? Like what, if you could think of a sound that influences your music, what is it?
Well, I mean, I grew up drumming was my primary instrument, and I grew up learning the drums to Led Zeppelin and the Who and Jimi Hendrix. So those are the three best rock drummers, and there are other greats, but so my influence was rock and roll primarily, and all those groups also do acoustic music as well, and so I kind of grew up with rock and roll as the root of what I do. But I listen to all kinds of music. I mean, I listen to big band music. I love swing music, and all kinds of styles. So I'm always listening to different things. But yeah, basically rock and roll is where I started, and now I've listened to singer-songwriters and trying to hone my craft as a writer. Because that's a constant battle for all of us who write songs, because it's hard to do.
Well, we're here to listen to more of those fine songs. Can you play us another one?
Sure. There's one that also. This is next song. The previous song has not been released yet. That's a work in progress. But this next song is one that I released earlier this year. It's a song about those who are seeking out the American dream, only to not see it realized. America is the land of opportunity, and a lot of people do succeed, and there are lots of opportunities. But this is a perspective of those who came here to this country and didn't pan out the same way as some of those other people. So it's just that view. So it's called Skin and Bones. We left our home, we sailed away, far across the sea, looking for a better life, to settle down and see how happy we could be. So we took to the earth, tilled the land, and tried to make that place our home. That new big old world was all ours, try to make it on our own. We thought our world was plenty, but it was only skin and bone. As the years rolled by, we left that simple life behind, just trying to find our way. We swept across the land, planted seed, and gathered up our pay. Still more and more they came from distant lands. This new world was getting small. All we ever wanted was just to have a piece of our own. Thought our world was plenty, but it was only skin and bone. Only skin and bone. We fall with our friends and our foe, and everyone in between. For all that we had was ours to keep, there was nothing out of reach. Still the war within ourselves killed the dream, or so it seemed. Now divided we two fall, this new world looks just like the old. Thought our world was plenty, turns out it was only skin and bones. Only skin and bones.
Very nice. Strikes me that being a drummer in your past life
Right?
really helps your guitar strumming.
Yep.
I mean, that was great.
Right
Daniel.
on time.
Everybody, we are here with Daniel Ouimet. You can learn out and hear a whole bunch of Daniel's other music, danielwouimetmusic.com. Daniel, you had shared with Kim that songs oftentimes start with the music, and but each one of these has had a memorable hook in it, Skin and Bones, and the other songs have also. So as you're in the middle of writing these songs, you get the chords together, evoke some words to you. Does all of a sudden a phrase pop up that you say, well, that's or is that more subconscious when that happens?
I mean, sometimes phrases stick out. As far as writing the song, I mean, generally, it's kind of like dough or putty. Once you come up with a concept, and then you just start going with it until it shapes into something that you're happy with or that makes sense. And then from that, you can arrange phrases and lyrics to, certain places if there is somewhat of a hook or a repetitive phrase that you want to focus on. But for me, it's, my songwriting abilities, I think, are, they're at a point where I just kind of just need it until I think it's done. Just work it until it makes sense. And sometimes that doesn't happen. You work a long time on a song, and then you just decide, there's something not quite right about it. But the ones that have the most success are the ones that, for me anyway, if I can write, at least one verse and like a chorus type thing, like that's the foundation of any song. There are other parts, but if you can get that much to it, it's easier to finish than if you just have a few nice lines that are, you're trying to go with it, something like that. It's tougher.
So those that you're dissatisfied with and you put to the side, do you ever go back to those, or they're forever gone?
Oh, all the time. I definitely go back to it. I go back to songs that are finished, because just when they're done, they're not always done. I mean, those of us who write songs, they're never
true
done.
That is.
For people like Paul McCartney or John Lennon can pull a song out of the air and it's done. It's done. But for most people, it's an ongoing thing that's always revisiting things. But I do take old ideas and repurpose them when I can, because they're too valuable to throw away.
Well, I was interested in learning other aspects of your life as we sat out before the show, and you shared that you just got back from luthier school in Nashville.
Yes.
We don't want to interrupt the music too much, but I know we've piqued Bob and Kim's interest about that. How does one find a luthier school, and is this something you've been wanting to do all along, or tell us a little bit about that?
Finding the school, for me, ended up being easy because I met a musician at a festival out in Boone, and he was a musician who had a guitar booth, and I struck conversation. I'm like, hey, how do you get into this? And he's like, well, I learned how to do it, kind of diversifying my abilities, because he's a Nashville session player, and it's very competitive. And long story short, I ended up going to the person that he uses, who is John Levan, who is a pretty well-known luthier and author of many guitar books from Elbay and D'Addario and other people. And Taylor, he worked with Taylor guitars for many, many years. So, but there are a few. There's many schools that will teach you how to build a guitar. There's more than you can shake a stick at for that. But finding people that will teach you how to repair them is a little bit more challenging.
You just got to go to junk stores, buy guitars, and start taking them apart.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Well, then you got to put them back together.
Well, that's the hard part. Yeah.
And
Well,
so,
yeah.
what were the basic things? Just a couple of things that, and I sense that you have the bug now, and this might continue. But what things did you cover in your first foray into this world?
Well, the first of many sessions with him is the first one that was the basic setups, neck alignment, neck adjustment, fret dressing, fret replacement, pickups, all the basics that most every guitar player needs at some point, whether they know it or not. Mm-hmm. And so learning how to do that, and for me, what prompted that initially, kind of what prompted it, was the fact that I couldn't find someone to do my repairs. I have other guitars besides these, other mandolins and acoustic instruments that need repair. And I've gone to all the well-known people in the area, and they're just too busy or really expensive because the price goes up when they're busy.
Yep.
So it's hard to find people to do even just to glue on a nut or file it correctly or do any kind of work to the bridge. It's hard to find people. And I said, you know what? I have a carpenter background, and I'm pretty handy with my eyes and my hands, and I love guitars, and so it was a good fit.
Well, I know everybody who's listening, all the musicians will be looking out for when you open the storefront, because you're right, fine luthiers like Rob Scher over at Scion Pure and others are just, they're so busy. You might have a month or two waiting list just to get a pickup installed. And so it's interesting. Back to the music. What do you got
Sure.
next?
Well, I have another song. This song was released on my first record called Bittersweet. You can find it on all the stream platforms. And it's the last track of the record. And for me, it's a song about what past generations would think about the world that they helped create that they never got to see. And I think every generation goes through that. Every generation's different. And it's just this is just a perspective if they were to come back, and see what was going on. It's called Where the Old Ghosts Meet. There is a place where the old ghosts meet. Behind stone walls, down by the old church green. By the hand of time, despite us all, how their numbers grew behind those walls. Through the sands of time, everything must change. Generations come and go, and people aren't quite the same. Sharing stories with each other of how it used to be. Oh, those good old days of eternity. think they'd say if they had more time? Well, they say that we're lost, we're just the selfish kind. Among such ruin, corruption, and lies, such thinly veiled disguise.
Fantastic. Daniel Ouimet, live here on Pass the Hat. Daniel, you mentioned a Boone Festival. I think you mentioned the Boone Songwriter Festival. Was that Antlers and Acorns?
Yes. Yes.
Fantastic. I wanted you to say it out loud, but I
Yeah.
said it out loud instead. we're fans and friends of Sherry Smith, who puts on that festival, and it's fantastic. You guys should get out there and look it up. Happens every September.
Yeah, I was actually there helping out the Woody Guthrie Collective. They were interviewing musicians who were influenced by Woody and the work that he did, and I was doing audio recording, and
Nice.
and we ended up interviewing a bunch of musicians, and yeah, it was a great time and a great festival, and some great musicians going through those doors. So yeah, we'll definitely be going back next September.
Excellent.
For it.
I hope to see you there. And I just wanted to follow up on a couple of questions that Kim Lane asked about songwriting, and you mentioned that it can be hard at times, and then in several of your follow-up answers that both Kim and Kirk asked you questions about, it became clear to me that songwriting for you was the lyrics, that the lyrics seemed to be what took all of the work. Do you find that generally to be the case, that you work really hard on the lyrics and the music that goes along with the lyrics comes a little more naturally?
Yeah, the hardest part for me is lyrics. There are some masterful songwriters out there. I mean, John Prine's a perfect example of someone who can just make every word count. And through my experience attending Folk Alliance International conferences and meeting people, musicians, and workshops, and Americana and all that, what you're hearing from people is words matter, meaning that every word should mean something. And
Nothing's throwaway.
Yeah, filler words, sometimes you need them, but the point is that every lyric or every stanza or line, whatever you want to call it, every idea that you put down into the song, it should be driving towards what the song is about, and it should kind of all bring it together. But the music for me, it's coming easier the more I play. I mean, I've been playing for about, 16 years on stringed instruments, so it's getting easier there. But lyrics are always the toughest.
In fact, we were talking about that before you came in. Kirk Ridge played us a song, same song he had played with us here live 2 weeks before, except that it wasn't the same song. It was better. And part of what made it better was taking out the last stanza.
Oh.
So, so part of what we were talking about is just the evolution of songs. That they're always works in process, but also that every word matters, and sometimes less is more.
Yes, absolutely, and and that sounds, a lot of great songs. Yeah, less is more, but it's just the right amount, and it's hard.
Yeah, you don't want to have a one-word song there.
Well, they're out there,
Yeah.
and they're probably
That's
hit
what
songs.
Yoko Ono does. Leave it to her.
Well, speaking of words that matter,
We have reached the top of the hour, and we are WHUP LP Hillsboro. The show is Pass the Hat. We are here every Friday from 6 to 8 o'clock with live music portions 6:30 to 7:30. Bob, we are fortunate to have an hour or two sponsor.
that's right. Hey, you see that little cardboard box? You're already reaching for it. You're a Pass the Hat professional already. Support for this second hour of Pass the Hat is sweetly provided by Matthews Chocolates, 104 North Churton Street, Hillsborough, North Carolina, the finest in chocolate and chocolate accessories for all of your chocolate needs. And let's face it, we all have
chocolate needs.
Every guest on Pass the Hat gets a gift of chocolate. We don't know what's in the box, but we know that it's delicious. And by the way, today is Matthew's birthday. Stop by and wish him a happy birthday and place your orders now for your holiday chocolate. Don't show up the day before the holiday and think you're going to get excellent service. He's going to be super busy. He won't have slept for a week and a half, and you want to have your order put in advance.
Everybody, if you've been listening on WHUPFM.org, which is a great place to visit because in addition to Pass the Hat, there are maybe 36 or more other wonderful shows covering a wide array of topics and genre. But in addition to the radio, Bob, we stream live video of our guests, and we are doing that right now with Daniel Ouimet. Where do people find that?
At WHUP Pass the Hat, at WHUP Pass the Hat on all of your favorite streaming services, and your favorite streaming services are YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch in that order. YouTube keeps them forever, so we have you don't just watch this one live. You can watch this one live. You should watch this one live. But we also have a fantastic archive of years of videos out there on the YouTube channel, so you can just spend your entire holiday vacation watching Pass the Hat shows, and they're all epic. YouTube and Twitch keeps those for 2 weeks, so they're great for the live presence and maybe catching what you missed last week. But YouTube has all of the stuff. And Kirk, speaking of WHUPFM.org, folks should go out there and look for the link to the Evening of Rare Spirits 2. Oh, wait, yeah. We're on video, y'all. So this is happening Saturday, December... Right there, Kirk. Right there, live.
I like how
live
Kirk
streaming.
is skillfully staying out of the frame. Well done, Kirk.
An Evening of Rare Spirits. Our local famous auction house is bringing over some of their rare spirits for people to taste and buy. It's at the Painter Law Firm, part of their downtown office. They have a high-rise deck on top of the building. Great place to hang out, great place to have some cocktails, and they'll have some heavy hors d'oeuvres and all of these wonderful rare spirits that you get to taste, and if you want to, put a bid on and buy. And there's a ticket price. I don't know what it is, but it's well worth it, and the money goes to support this wonderful radio station. So get out to WHUPFM.org and check it out.
What Bob is saying is that he will be there with all of the little, what do they call them, those little paddles. He will have 6 paddles in each hand bidding on all the bourbon, is what he's saying.
Well, I'm not going to outbid anybody. I'm just going to be whoever wins the bid. I'm going to be their best friend.
Everybody, we're having a great time. These are wonderful songs that Daniel Ouimet has brought here this evening and shared with us. And Daniel, it's time for us to jump back in the pool, and really looking forward to what secrets you're going to unfold next.
Well, that's the thing about these songs. People, ask me, are these songs about you? And people always say about me, and So, this next song is about breaking the rules. And what I say to people is that there's a little bit of me in all these songs, but you have to figure out which parts are which. Otherwise, I'd incriminate myself. So the next song I'm going to do is, it's a long story, but the synopsis is I went to a concert and I was asked to leave for reasons I won't get into. It wasn't my fault. I was innocent. I was hanging out with the wrong crowd. But ultimately, I snuck back in to see the show, and I ended up seeing it. So this song is called Hop the Pearly Gates. Got one foot up, I got one in the grave. My soul run down and can't be saved. But it's a hell of a mess I got myself into. 'cause all I wanna do is roll with you. To see right through wrong, again and again, so I hop to put a gate if they don't let me in. Well, I don't like my chances, but I've been told if you pay the preacher man, he will save your soul. Well, I bide my time, I got nothing to give, 'cause I ain't worth a dime as long as I live. Seems right to do wrong again and again, so I'll hop to put a gaze if they don't let me in. Well, there's nothing I can do, nothing I can say, except I live my life hard till I'm buried in clay. I got my pedal to the metal, but I'm low on gas. Well, all my whiskey's gone, I got an empty flask. To see right through wrong again and again, so I hop to put a gaze if they don't let me in. I said I'll hop to put a gaze if they don't let me in. I said I'll hop to put a gaze if they don't let me in. I said I'll hop to put a gaze if they don't let me in. I said I'll hop to put a gaze if they don't let me in.
Daniel Ouimet, live here on Pass the Hat. Hey, Daniel, we talked about you being a drummer, and we talked about these guitars you're playing being tenor guitars, which a lot of people don't even know exist. So, were these the first guitars you picked up and started playing? What was your introduction to a tenor guitar?
Well, my introduction to tenor guitar was just my search for a bigger mandolin.
Okay.
You know, because
Legit.
I taught myself to play a mandolin. It was actually kind of by accident. I was, invited a friend over with his guitar, and I was playing drums, and we had a little jam session, hanging out. And he brought this little tiny A-style Irish mandolin, and he's like, "Hey, check this out." I'm like, "Okay." And I started playing with it, and I fell in love with it, especially since you could get started with just two-finger chords.
Right.
But from there, it goes on and on. But so I just got hooked on it because I tried guitar, as a child and just didn't have the hands for it or the patience. And so I just started playing six string again. Being a luthier, I got to brush up on my chords. But yeah, it's just they have octave mandolins, which is just a bigger body and it's one octave lower than a standard mandolin. And then when I saw that Blue Ridge offered this model, I picked it up. And then recently a second one for other tunings. And Fender, I also have an electric four-string. Fender makes an electric tenor as well.
Is it one of those Acoustasonics, or is it actually a solid body electric?
No, solid body, and it needs a little work because it's not made to be a mandolin tuning tenor. But so I'll be able to take care of that. But yeah, I mean, I got lucky with this because not many people make tenor guitars. There are a few companies, and luckily Blue Ridge is one of them because they make good quality guitars.
Yeah, that. Have you switched guitars already? Because I know that one has a great sound to it. I'm not sure if
Yeah, this is the open tuning one. It's the GD. It's different than the 1.5 or the fifths.
Mm-hmm. That's all I got. Stop looking at me.
It's good stuff.
Well, as far as just the mechanics of playing it, though, it's at least 50-50. People who are self-taught on their instruments that we see here in the studio and people who got lessons. I don't know anyone who gives lessons in that particular guitar. So are you entirely self-taught on that? And if you want to play covers, where do you go to get the chords? You can't just go to Ultimate Guitar. So where do you find that stuff?
Yeah, I'm completely self-taught. for music. Drums, I had lessons in school, and there was, I was in the stage band, and they had, snare drum lessons, and I took drum kit lessons for about a month, but mainly just listening to music and playing along with it. It's easier with drums because you don't have to figure out the chords, but yeah, I mean, basically, if there's a song that I want to figure out and I can't figure it out by ear, I go to, like everyone else, Ultimate Guitar, and they have different chords, and you can find the key that works for you or whatever. So basically, after I taught myself the basic chords in the bottom 3 strings, I learned not this guitar, but the movable chords.
Right.
And then once you know the 4 different types of movable chords, you can pretty much play anywhere in the neck, and but yeah, pretty much self-taught. And a lot of things, you pick up by ear. On the simpler songs, you can tell the main chords. If they're going to play these augmented ones,
People do get carried away with their chords sometimes.
They do. They're piano songs, I call them. Like, we don't need a D11 or whatever. But yeah, pretty much self-taught. It's been a lot of fun. It took me a few years to get going, but I figured out a system and I stuck with it, and it works.
Well, this is incredibly cool listening to you. The whole package is fantastic. We'd love to hear more.
Yeah, sure. I'll do another one on this tuning here. So this song here is, I guess it's about a dysfunctional relationship. I guess it is.
Oh,
to
what?
simply put it.
Aren't they all?
Dysfunctional. In fact, this song, I haven't recorded it yet, but I am playing with a local band called the Beagles. And I think you've had Brian O'Kelly Cox on the show.
Absolutely.
And he started that band, and he brought me in, so I'm able to play drums and guitar with him and all kinds of stuff. So this is one of the songs that we do, one of my songs that we do with the band, and it's called Runaway Train. Oh, that train keeps rolling down the line, and it won't be back again this time. When her mind made up and she starts to roll, ain't nothing gonna stop her now. Won't be long before she blows her top and steam comes pouring out. Best be way, stay out of her way, unless you wanna get burned. Take it from me, 'cause I wanna know if there's one thing that I've learned, is that train keep rolling down the line, and it won't be coming, no, back again this time. She come rolling through Yorktown, the ground begin to move, pushing that throttle down to the floor like she got nothing to lose. Big man, I want her with a grain of salt, 'cause what I say is true. Don't go messing with hole number 7, 'cause she'll roll right over you. 'Cause that train keeps rolling down the line, and it won't be coming, no, back again this time. By the time she hits the next state line, running hotter than a Georgia sun, seems so free and not a care in the world till it all just come undone. It's too late to turn back now, the hands have all been played. Ain't no stopping a runaway train, she's gonna chase me to my grave. And that train keeps rolling down the line, and it cost me my worried mind, my worried mind, my worried mind, my worried mind.
Daniel Ouimet, live here on Pass the Hat. Learn more at danielouimetmusic.com. Ouimet is Ouimet. Daniel, you mentioned playing with the Beagles, and you mentioned having solo gigs. You got anything coming up where people can see you live?
Nothing on the books locally that's coming live. I was telling Kirk that I'm actually, in January, I'm going to Taos, New Mexico to be a resident musician for a retreat that's happening
Sounds
out there.
pretty sweet.
Yeah. So it's a writers retreat. So there'll be writers there, or obviously musicians and things like that. So so looking forward to that. But it's right now, it's the slow booking season for a lot of venues because a lot of gigs are outdoors.
Yep.
But yeah, things will be picking up in the spring, and we'll be booking. In fact, the Beagles have a gig tonight. They got a gig down in Apex, so I might stop by and catch the end of that show. Maybe play
Being
some.
as how you're in the band, it seems like a good idea to show up.
Yeah, it's a small, little obligation.
So how did you get connected with the Writers Retreat in Taos, New Mexico? Are you from the area?
No. Actually, my partner teaches Qigong and writing, and so it's kind of going to be a hybrid writing Qigong meditation type situation. People can go to an inviting, warm, calm space, and so they can write and not be bothered with things that are happening around them.
Have you been to Taos before?
I have not, so I'm looking forward to it.
You'll like it. It's beautiful out there.
I was going to ask about the weather because I've never been there in the winter. I'm wondering, but I can't ask you. You've never been there.
Well, I know someone that's been there, and it's cold, especially in January. But it's beautiful. It's cold and dark. So I guess it's a high desert, so it still gets really cold at night.
That's what I was expecting. Brutally cold at night.
Yeah, and a lot of paw prints in the snow. There's a lot of animals roaming around. But I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be exciting, and also looking forward to getting out and do more gigs and working on guitars and writing more music and.
Yeah, you've announced a couple of times that now you're a luthier. You may not ever leave the house again.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is very it's addicting because the more I got into it at the school, it was the more I wanted to know, and it's fascinating. There's so many different things that I never would have thought of. But yeah, there's a lot to know.
And so many little maintenance-y things that you can do for your friends, and they will love you forever.
Yes, humidify your instrument is the takeaway from any conversation you'll have with any luthier who cares about your guitars. Make sure they're properly, humidity in the house is correct, or in the case, because there's nothing worse than a dry guitar.
Yep.
In fact,
And
this
dry
guitar that
clicks.
I'm playing right here, I had to glue the nut back on this morning because it wouldn't stay in tune. I'm like, oh, there's something wrong with this guitar. But what happened was the glue on the nut dried out, and it started sliding. So
Daniel, the proper humidity range is?
I got that wrong on the test. No, I was kidding. It's 45 to 55%.
Yep.
And the thing about that too is, like, North Carolina is a very humid state. For those
In
of-
August.
it is forgiving in the summer months, but as winter's coming and the heat goes on, you may notice the frets in your guitar growing or sprouting out. I think they call it.
You start bleeding on your guitar.
Yeah, so that's a dead giveaway. If the neck is shrinking enough to where the frets are sticking out, you got to do something about the humidity because you're just going to ruin your guitar. And the guitars are expensive, and they're expensive to fix, and
Yep.
the whole thing. So
Out in
yeah,
my
it's-
little studio, I have and they don't cost much, maybe $50, $100, less than 100, probably 50, both a dehumidifier and a humidifier. And depending on the time of the year,
Just let them
I'll
fight it out.
turn one on and this time of the year when I have my little space heater, after it's been on for an hour or two, the humidity starts to drop.
Yep.
So I have to turn on the humidifier to put some steam in there. So it's a very interesting science experiment out in the studio.
Yeah, it's a very small range, 45 to 55. It seems like it's
pretty
only
narrow.
It's pretty narrow, and it better to be too humid. I mean, on the heavy side rather than too dry. But either way, it's got to be in that. It should be in that range for proper wood health because things start coming unglued and cracking and twisting, and once wood cracks, that's it.
It
There's no
doesn't
going
uncrack.
back.
Regardless, keep your guitar in its case. Do not be one of those who likes to hang it on the wall and display it because a week goes by and when you go back to those guitars,
It's
Lord
not
help
happy.
you.
Well, these are very well cared for guitars, I'm sure, and I'd love to hear it played some more.
All right, I'll do one more on this guitar. Because with the open tuning, you have to learn new chords and new ways to play it, and I spent a lot of time doing that. But so I'll do one more on this, and then I'll switch back to the standard. But so this song is one of the newest songs that I've written, and it's a song about those who move away from home and move away from their hometown and explore the world or go live somewhere else and just have different experiences, and that's always a struggle when you leave your family, your friends behind, and you're building a new life. So it's there's a lot that goes with that. So this is a song that I wrote about that. It's called "The Road Least Taken." Came without warning, took us by surprise. Should have seen it coming, with eyes open wide. We were too close to see the cracks in the wall. The crazy days of summer soon turned to fall. So we've been living this morning our whole lives. So the road he's taking is the road of our lives. Small town living lay gentle on our minds. That big city bustle left it all behind. Too close to see the wine down the wall. The crazy days of summer soon turn to fall. And though the love is taken, grew stronger over time. The love we could forsaken is the love. Left our hometown, loving on our mind. All the love we wanted, left it all behind. And so the road he's taken can often be so long. And so the road he's taken, on and on so long. None we took for granted, stronger over time. The love we took for granted could no longer be about. Should have seen it coming, took us by surprise.
Daniel, where can people give you money for your music? We know a lot of people are out there on the streaming services, and those are great. But where can people financially support your music?
I actually have a Venmo account set up for, it's on my card. There's actually a scan code that goes to a landing page with all my music, but right now that's actually not on my website, so I'll make sure I get that up and going. But yeah, I do have virtual tip jar when I do shows for one of those scan cards type thing.
So for now, Daniel Ouimet Music, and eventually we'll find the tip jar out there.
Yes, eventually.
But we do have time for one more song, so I see you're strapping on the new tenor guitar,
The new old one.
the new old one.
All right. All right. I'll do. All right. I'll do. This one so I don't have to tune. That's the one thing about these guitars. They do require a lot of tuning after capos, which. But that's some pretty good tape. So this last song I'm going to do is. It's about sticking together with the person you're with.
Is there a tuner inside the sound hole of your guitar?
Yes.
That is so cool. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, a friend of mine turned me onto these. D'Addario makes them. They slide right into the sound hole, so they don't get lost or broken or.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Stick out and get cracked.
Okay, I interrupted, and I'm so sorry. Go back into that song intro.
No, that's fine. No, and actually, I'm going to read to it real quick. There's one last song that I want to do. It's one of the newest songs I've done. And everyone does love songs, and I've done a bunch of songs myself. And this song here I'm going to play is it's a song about love, not necessarily being in love, because love is a very tricky thing, and it's. Okay, this is called "Simply Complicated." Gotta make sure the capo's on there. Soft as the drifting snow, and harder than a springtime rain. The secrets only lovers know. Time won't heal all pain. Simply complicated, love is all. Love is all. Love is all. Like a summer breeze, cool when winter calls, satisfied but never pleased, dancing lovers waltz, simply complicated, love is all, love is all. Dancing on the stardust, high in the sky, doves flying over the moon, petals turn and fade away and fall to the ground, love no longer in bloom. Flows away with ease, and pain never really fades away. Scars seldom seen, broken hearts like fractured clay. Simply complicated, love is all. Love is all. Love is all. Love is all. Thank you.
Friends, you have been listening to Daniel Ouimet. He is at Daniel Ouimet, Ouimetmusic, because I can spell.
Can you use it in a sentence?
I cannot, no. .com. And so go check him out. He's going to have that Venmo link up there. We're going to end the live stream, but don't go away. You're going to head on over to WHUPFM.org and hit that listen live button, or you're going to go to Radio Garden, the TuneIn app, and find WHUPFM and click on that listen button, because we're going to hear Daniel's favorite songs right now.
But for now, we're turning off the live stream, and Danielle is waving goodbye. Okay, we're through with those